yogis. So this is a practice for beginners. I wanted to do this practice because a lot of you have written to me and saying that they want to start yoga, and if I have some tips of how to start a yoga practice. And obviously all the yoga studios here in Italy, they're closed. I think a lot of yoga studios all around the world are now closed as well. So I think it can be a nice moment to start a yoga practice and then to do it online. So today we're just going to do a very basic practice where we're going to go through all the most common yoga positions, yoga asanas, and I will try to explain how to come into the position, what to think about in the positions, and so on. So I hope you will enjoy this practice. If it's your first yoga practice ever, then I feel very honored that you are practicing together with me. And so let's start. Let's come into a child pose. So this is my dog Bobo, by the way. So feet together, knees, we can place them how wide you want, together or wide, whatever you want. And then sit back on top of your heels. Drop your chest down. Drop your head down. Reach your arms in front or alongside your body. So really find a comfortable position here. Taking a couple of deep breaths and feeling how you're arriving onto the mat. Closing your eyes. Feeling how your rib cage is opening, it's closing for each breath. And see if with each exhale you can soften your body a little bit more, becoming a little bit heavier. And then slowly we'll place the arms in front, palms on the ground, and then from here lifting up to a tabletop position. So here the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath our hips, and then on an inhale we drop the belly down, lifting our hips even taller if that's possible, and then lifting the head up. And then with your next exhale, we're rounding the spine. Pull the belly in and lifting the spine as high up as you can as the nose goes towards your chest. So a couple of rounds like that. Inhale, we're coming forward, dropping the spine. Exhale, going back and lifting the spine up. And you should feel very nice sensation along your spine, at your chest when you're looking forward. And then we will come into a neutral position with the spine. Tucking the toes underneath. And then from here, exhale, lifting up into a downward facing dog. So here, look forward to your hands, feeling how the fingertips are spreading wide. And put a little bit more awareness onto your knuckle of your index finger, which has a tendency to lift up in this position. So really feel how that knuckle, this knuckle here, is rooted down to the ground. This will help you distribute the body weight equally on your whole palm. And I'm feeling here how we're lengthening the arms, pushing the weight back towards your feet.
So starting here with the feet, with the heels a little bit lifted. You can keep the knees a little bit soft and just focus here on your back. And feeling how you're straightening your back as much as you can. And feeling how you're pushing your hips up and back. Keeping your abdominals contracted and keeping a firm rib cage. So we're not opening up, we're not arching too much. We're keeping a straight spine, pushing back. And then from here, see if we gently can lower the heels down, can straighten the legs a little bit. But it doesn't necessarily have to be straight or the heels down. The important part here is the back. For me, it's in the morning right now, I feel a little bit stiff, so I have a little bit hard time bringing the heels down. So let's see what happens in the end of the practice. The neck is completely relaxed, so just swing your head a little bit side to side just to make sure. And then fix your gaze on something where it lands naturally. Okay, so from here we start walking the feet towards our hands. We'll place them just behind our hands. So the feet are hip-width apart. We bend our knees. Go and grab opposite elbow or just let the hands be loose on the ground. And then take a nice deep inhale here. And exhale through your mouth. And feel how you're softening around your spine, around your neck. So yoga, you can see yoga as a meditation in movement. When we come to the yoga mat, we want to take the practice only for ourselves. We want to bring the mind into our body. So all the thoughts about the past, about the future, just pushing those away for the moment. And then we can deal with those after the practice. And trust me, you will deal with those thoughts, those problems, those issues much better after yoga practice. So from here, releasing your arms and then gently, one vertebra at a time, slowly rolling up. The head is the last part that is unfolding. So really feel your whole spine, all the vertebrae. When you're coming up, bring your shoulders up towards your ears. And then exhale, bring them back and down. Shoulder blades coming together. So we will come into a couple of sun salutations here, where we will move our body in all different kinds of directions. So we'll do sun salutation A and sun salutation B. And we will move with each, there's a position for each breath. First we will do one very slow, so we will go through, I will try to explain to you what's happening in the body in each position. So the first position is the mountain pose. Tadasana, very important position of all the yoga positions. Feeling here how your feet are on the ground, rooting your feet down to the floor. So imagine that you have four corners of each foot, of each sole, and feeling how those four corners, two are in the front at the balls of the feet and two are in the back at your heels on each side, and feeling how you're rooting these four corners equally on the ground. So your body weight is equally balanced on the floor. Maybe you need to rock a little bit forward and back, side to side, to find that neutral position. And then feel how you're engaging the legs. Coming into our pelvis, which is very important in our yoga practice. We want to tilt the pelvis forward. So imagine a tailbone that's in the back at the lower part of our spine. Imagine to push that tailbone down, that the tailbone is pointed down and not up. So when it's pointed down, we have more control over abdominals and we have more control over our body. Except when we're doing backbends, then it's a little bit different.
But so this is very important to think about in the whole yoga practice. And then feeling how the chest is open, the shoulders are rotated back, so really opening up the chest here. The neck is long, the shoulders are far away from your ears, so really lengthen your neck as much as you can. The shin is parallel to the floor. And fixing the gaze in front of you. That's called our dristi in yoga. So fix the gaze in front, find that focus point in front of you. And this is important in all the yoga positions. Even though we're twisted, we're upside down, we're on our head, we are, I don't know what, we always need to have our focus point. So here, take a nice deep exhale. And then with your next inhale, reaching the arms above your head. So make sure we're not arching our back here. We are keeping that neutral spine. And then from here, bring the palms together, or they can be separated, depending on your shoulders. If you feel your shoulders are going up towards your ears, if you bring them together, then keep them open. And then from here, with your next exhale, we'll fold down. Feel how you're folding from your hips. So fold with a straight back as much as you can. If you have a sensitive lower back, then bend your knees slightly. Bring your palms all the way down to the floor. Drop your head completely. So this is Uttanasana. So if you need to keep your knees a little bit bent in order to bring the palms down to the floor, feel free to do so. So important here, the palms are on the ground. And then we're working towards straightening the legs the further on in the practice we go. From here, with your next inhale, we place the palms on your shins and then pushing yourself away from your legs as we straighten the spine. Really important here to keep firm abdominals, so we're protecting the lower back. So really straight spine. We can also have the fingertips on the floor here, but as a little bit more intense. It's very important to keep a straight spine, so we don't want to do something like this. Okay? From here, we'll step back to plank. In the beginning, I recommend you to take 2 steps, and then as you move in more into your practice, you can jump back as well. But in the beginning, I would recommend to just take 2 steps back into plank. So the hands are underneath your shoulders, heels pushing back, finding that neutral spine so we're not arching your back. And then from here we have different ways of coming down. So I will show them all to you. First one, the most easier one, is with the knees on the ground. We lean a little bit forward, bend your elbows, and all the variations when we're going down, we want to rotate the elbows so the elbows pointing back, and we hug the elbows in towards our body when we lower down. And when we lower down, it's important that we land with the chest first, so we're not collapsing with our lower back. So this is the first variation. The second variation, very similar, just that we go one straight line. So the knees are lifted. Elbows are hugged into your body. Lower down. And it's very important to keep control of your abdominals and your lower back. So if we do one of those variations, one of those 2 variations, from here we lift up to a cobra for the next position. So cobra is with the hands underneath your shoulders, legs are straight on the ground, feet are straight on the ground, and then from here, lifting the chest up. Doesn't need to be very high up. It's an important part here, the shoulders do not go up towards the ears. Keeping bent elbows, shoulders going back, and then the hips are on the ground, so we're not lifted up like this or something like that, because then we will hurt our lower back. So it's really about engaging the back muscles here. So the third way of coming down is Chaturanga Dandasana. It's a more intense position, it requires a lot of strength in the body. So from here, turning the arms around so the elbows goes back, we lower halfway down. And if we come into this position, instead of cobra, we lift up to upward facing dog. So even here, this is also a little bit more intense than cobra. It's two different positions. So here the legs are off the ground. We're pushing ourselves away from the floor with our hands. The shoulders are far away from the ears, and we're lifting the chest. From here, whatever we are, if we're in cobra or downward facing dog, upward facing dog, we find our way into our downward facing dog. So here again, as we said before, just making sure that the fingers are spread wide, that index finger and knuckle are pushing down towards the ground. Feeling the straight spine. The neck is relaxed. The feet are hip width apart. Trying to reach those heels down, but it doesn't necessarily need to go down. And normally we stay here for a couple of breaths. And then when we're coming forward, we bend our knees, look towards the front, and here either step or jump, but in the beginning I would recommend to step forward between your hands. And then when you're coming forward, going directly into the position that we did in the beginning as well, when we're reaching towards the front. So either hands on your shins or fingertips on the floor. And then from here we lower down into that Uttanasana, that forward fold. And you should feel a very nice sensation in the back side of your legs here. And then we will come up into standing. So again, if you're having issues in your lower back, bend your knees a little bit so you put more weight onto your legs than your lower back. And we're coming all the way up, reaching arms above our head, finding your variation, again, arms open or together. And then exhale, bring the hands into heart center. So let's do that one more time, faster. Read one breath for each movement. So finding yourself in a mountain position, feet together, toes touching, heels can be slightly apart. Feeling the length of your body. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. And an inhale, reaching the arms out, tilting your head up, so looking up as well. Exhale, folding forward, bend your knees slightly if you need to. Drop your head completely. And then inhale, looking forward, straightening your back. Exhale, stepping into plank and lower down with your variation. Inhale, rolling your shoulders back. Exhale for downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then let's bend the knees, looking to the front, prepare to coming forward. And then exhale, stepping your feet in between your hands. So feet are all the way together here. Inhale, reaching towards the front. Exhale, fold, drop your head. And then inhale, reaching arms above your head. And then exhale, hands into heart center. Okay, so that was sun salutation A. Let's go into sun salutation B. Very similar, but we just will add one warrior one in the sequence. So it's very, very, very similar. But we will start also in a different position. We'll start in a chair pose. So make sure your legs are together, knees are hugging in, sink your hips down, and then inhale, reaching your arms up. Again, palms together or separated depending on your shoulders. And then from here, exhale, lower down, drop your head. That same Uttanasana as we did in sun salutation A. From here, we will reach forward into Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, stepping back into plank position, finding your way down, halfway down, all the way down. Either upward facing dog like this or cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Stepping that right foot between your hands and turning your left foot around. And then from here, so find that the heels are almost in the same line here. From here we lift the arms up into a warrior one. So you want to keep the knee on top of your heel, top of your front heel. Not to the inside, not to the outside, not too much forward. Very much on top of your heel. Feeling how the back hip is pulling forward and the front hip is pulling back. Activating that back leg and feeling how the whole foot is on the floor. We have a tendency in this position to lift the outer edge of the foot off the ground. Really feel how the whole sole of the foot is pushing down to the ground. And then from here we're reaching the arms up. So this is warrior one. If it's possible, bringing the gaze up here. And again, palms together, separated as you prefer. And then stepping back into plank position again. And lower down. So finding your variation, making sure that you have control in your abdominals and your lower back. From here, lifting up either to cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So same thing here. Stepping that left foot forward. And to bring the foot forward, we need to also make the movement of bringing the shoulders forward. So if we don't do that movement with the shoulders, we will never be able to step the foot forward. But we really need to bring the shoulders forward, and then we have space for the foot, for the leg to move forward. Turning that right foot around, so we have a 45-degree angle in the right foot. Making sure that the knee is on top of the heel already from here, and then lifting up. Sinking your hips deep down, pulling that right hip forward, left hip back, so you're making the hips as parallel as possible, and then reaching the arms up. Palms on the ground, stepping that left foot back, and lower down your variation. Rotating the shoulders, so we're lifting the chest. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Normally we stay for a couple of breaths. And then when we're coming forward, we bend the knees, look to the front, and step forward. Inhale, reaching towards the front, either on your fingertips or palms on your shins. And then exhale, we lower down. And then inhale, bending those knees again, sinking your hips down. And coming back up into a chair pose as where we started. So let's do that a little bit faster. And we will move One movement, one position for each breath. So finding your breath here, inhaling, exhale. Inhale, bend your knees, sweeping your arms up, making sure here you're having a straight back. Exhale, fold down, drop your head. Inhale, reaching your chest forward. Exhale, stepping your feet back and lower down. Inhale, lifting up to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stepping the right foot forward on an inhale as we're reaching the arms up for warrior one. Exhale, palms on the ground, right foot back and lower down. Inhale for cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stepping left foot forward, inhaling. Continue that inhale as you're reaching the arms up. Exhale, palms on the ground, left foot back and lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then bend your knees again, inhale. Looking forward. And exhale, stepping towards the front. Inhale, reaching towards the front. Exhale, fold for that Tadasana. Bending your knees, sweeping your arms up. Utkatasana, chair pose. So that's sun salutation A and sun salutation B. Very common in Ashtanga yoga, Vinyasa yoga. And it really helps to fire up the energy system and get the body going. Fire up that sun that we have inside of us. So let's go into some other positions from here. Step back into a downward facing dog through a half Vinyasa. So an inhale, sweeping the arms above your head. Exhale, step, bringing the palms down to the floor, drop your head. Inhale, lifting halfway up, lengthen. Exhale, stepping back into a downward facing dog. We'll step that right foot forward. So inhale, lifting the right leg to get a little bit more space. Exhale, stepping the right foot between your hands. Turning the left foot around. And then from here, lifting up to that warrior one again. That we were familiar with from sun salutation B. From here, we'll open up to a warrior two. So warrior one, we have the hips parallel, the arms up. Warrior two, we have the hips open and the arms parallel to the floor. And the gaze goes forward. The important part to think here is our lower back. We have a tendency to want to arch the back here, but then we lose our control of the abdominals. So instead, we want to bring that tailbone down again. Arms parallel to the floor. And feeling here how, even though we don't see the back leg and the back arm, very important to keep both of them engaged. So this is warrior two. And also a common mistake that people do, even me, I have the tendency to bring that knee, the front knee, a little bit inside. So always keep on pushing it out so it's just above the heels. Then we come into a reversed warrior. We'll flip that front palm. The leg stays exactly where they are. Reaching that right arm up and then back. So we'll really get into a side body here. The right side body. Feeling how we're opening up. Feeling how you're separating those ribs from each other. Exactly. So this is This is a reverse warrior. The left hand is on the left leg. You can slide it a little bit further down towards our left foot if it's possible. Or we can go behind our back and grab our right inner thigh. A little bit more intense. So from here, releasing that position, coming back to warrior two. Reaching the right fingertips forward, extend that side angle. So we'll keep the right elbow on top of our right knee. The left hand will go underneath, sweeping towards the floor and then lifting up and pointing the fingertips towards the front. So here we have a lot of different variations. Important part here is that we can open the chest, feeling that rotation of the chest. So the elbow here is on your knee, but we can also place the hand on the floor, or if we have a block, we can place it on top of a block. But the important part here, we don't collapse with our upper body. We want to keep a nice and open upper body. We can also come into bind, but that requires a little bit more stability and openness. Okay, so from here, lifting back up into warrior two. If you want to, you can shorten the distance of your feet a little bit, but keeping that ankle in your back foot. Arms are parallel, keeping the hips open. We'll reach forward, coming into a triangle pose. Placing the right hand wherever it comes. Slide it down, but without collapsing with your left shoulder, with your left hip. Slide it down to wherever you can arrive. The left fingertips are pointing up. So imagine here you're standing in between two walls. So you want to be as straight as possible. And then here it's really good for the neck here to bring the gaze up, to strengthen the muscles around in your neck. If you have any issues in your neck and it feels very uncomfortable, feel free obviously to look down or look forward. Okay, so from here, lifting back up, facing the front, and well, let's do a vinyasa, so we're coming into the other side. So hands on the ground, stepping that right foot back, finding your variation on how to lower down. Inhale from here, we're rotating the shoulders back. In cobra, upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweeping that left leg up, keeping your hips squared here, so we don't open the hips, keeping your hips squared. And then bringing that left foot in between your hands, turning the right foot around, making sure that the knee's on top of your heel, and then reaching arms up, warrior one. From here, we open up for warrior two. So, arms parallel to the floor, opening up your hips, making sure we're not doing that common mistake to arch our back, but keeping a flat back, tail pointing down, left knee on top of your left heel, and then gaze goes forward. Flipping that front palm, and then we're reaching the left arm up as we slide that right hand down, or go and grab the left inner thigh. But the important part here to feel is a side opening and not a back bend. And coming back to the front, extended side angle, so reaching the left fingertips forward, bringing your elbow on top of your front leg, and then sweeping the right fingertips down and then up. And then again, feeling here. Find your variation. An important part that we're keeping that chest open. And then lifting back up. Straightening the front leg, shorten the distance with your foot just a little bit. Reaching the left fingertips forward. And then left hand on the leg wherever it comes, slide it down. And right fingertips up. So if we come all the way down with our hand to our foot, you can see if we can bring the fingertips on the floor next to your foot. But making sure we're standing in a straight line. And pulling that hip backwards so that the right hip opens up and goes back. From here, lifting back up into a warrior two. Turning towards the front, palms on the ground. Step that left foot back and then lower down. Inhale, lifting up into a cobra or upward facing dog, and then go down into downward facing dog. Bring the right leg up again, and then step the right foot in between your hands. This time we drop the left knee down to the floor. Bringing the arms up, so we're coming into a low lunge here. Hands into heart center. Taking a nice deep inhale, we come into a twist position. So left elbow outside of your right knee, pushing your palms together here. And I'm feeling here, I'm keeping a straight spine, but twisting it. So we don't want to curve our spine when we twist. Really feel that length of the spine. And then here, when we're twisting in all different positions, we work a lot with the breath. So feeling with each inhale how we lengthen the spine, and then exhale we can twist a little bit deeper. So inhale, we create space for the twist, and exhale, we use that space to twist. And from here we can find variations, maybe opening the arms. We can also try to straighten that back leg. And then finally we can arrive into a bind. So slowly coming back, bringing the hands down to the floor and stepping back into downward facing dog directly. Lifting the left leg up. Stepping the left foot between your hands, dropping the right knee down to the floor, lifting the arms up, hands into heart center. Always take an inhale before coming into twist. We're lengthening up, and an exhale twist. Pushing the palms together and feeling our opening up. And then again, finding your variation, opening the arms, but make sure if we do a more intense variation that we do not collapse with our spine. And maybe it's an indication that we need to come back a little bit. And we can also try straightening the legs. Okay, and then stepping back. Or actually step that right foot forward. Inhale, reaching towards the front. And then exhale, fold. Feet are together. And then on inhale, reaching the arms above the head. And then exhale, hands into heart center. Releasing the arms, long standing body, coming into the mountain pose again. Tadasana. Finding your breath. So today it's more about just keeping a deep breath. And then when we practice Vinyasa and other styles of yoga, we use a breath called the Ujjayi breath that we'll go into another day. Just focus on keeping a very deep and controlled breath. From here we will lift up our right knee, bringing the left hand to your hip. Open the right knee out to the side. Grab your ankle and then place the right foot as high up on your leg as possible, on your left leg as possible. But that doesn't mean it needs to be up here. It can be lower, preferably not on your knee, but it can be under the knee. It can even be with the toes a little bit on the ground if you need that support. So find your variation where you feel stability, where you feel like this is your limit. And then feel how you're pushing that knee back and down. When you have stability, bring your hands into heart center for a tree pose. We also have a lot of fun variations, but this is the basic one. And then we can reach the arms above the head. Again, we can use them. Open the hands, keep them together. Important part, we never go off with the shoulders towards the ears like this. Slowly release that position, drop the leg down, and we're coming over to the other side. So first, feel how you're rooting the foot down to the ground, the right foot down, lifting the left knee up, bring the right hand to your right hip, open the knee out to the side, grab your ankle and place it as high up as you can, making sure we're not moving your lower back to compensate that movement. So it's a lot about opening the hip rather than moving the lower back. When you find your variation, push the knee back and down. Bring your hands into heart center. And then from here we can reach the arms up. Just find stability here. Slowly lower down, bring your foot down to the floor. Shake off the legs a little bit if you need to. From here we will open the legs as wide as you can. So bringing the right foot as far back on that as possible. I will bring the left because otherwise I will be bringing my back towards you. So feet as wide as you can. Bring your toes slightly in together. Engaging your legs, hands to your hips. Taking a nice deep inhale, open the chest. From here we'll fold forward, folding from your hips, so keeping a straight spine. When we not can keep the spine straight anymore, then we can round the spine and let the head down towards the floor. Hands on the ground wherever they land. Take another deep inhale, coming up on your fingertips, reaching towards the front, find that straight spine again. And then exhale, lower down and stay here this time. So preferably we want to have the hands in the same line as the feet. We can use those hands to push ourselves down. There are a lot of different variations in this position, but important part here, that is important in all the different variations, is that our body weight is equally balanced on our whole foot. So we have a tendency to bring our weight on our heels here. But we want to find that neutral position with our feet and keep our body weight equally balanced. From here, bring your hands to your heart, to your hips again. And with an inhale, lifting back up. And let's come to the front of the mat again. Bring your feet hip width apart. This time the toes can point out a little bit to the sides. Hands into heart center. And then from here we lower down into what we call the Yogic Squat. So, a lot of people have problems with this position. If you're one of them, you can place something underneath your heels. A pillow, a blanket, sweater, whatever it is that lifts up the heels a little bit so it becomes a little bit more comfortable. And then slowly, the more you practice, you will see that the heels will be on the ground shortly. In this position, it's a very active position, even though It doesn't look like it maybe, but we're pushing the elbows out to the side, squeezing the knees together, and pushing and lifting the chest forward. So this is our Yogic Squat or Malasana. Very great, very good for the hips and the circulation in the hips. So from here, we will lower down to the ground. We just done easy. We're leaning back, bringing the legs together, knees together, hugging the legs in, and then lifting your feet up. So it's a nice, the shins are parallel to the floor here. And reaching arms towards the front for both poses. The important part here is to feel the chest is open. If we want, we can also extend the legs. And then from here we will roll all the way down to the floor. We'll come into a couple of rounds of back bends here. So I'll guide you through it. We'll do 2 rounds. So first, we're doing the bridge position. Arms alongside your body, keeping your feet hip width apart. If you have a block at home, then we can use that block in between our knees. It's very, very good also for people that has lower back issues to find stability in this position. So the block between your knees, if you don't have the block, then just feel how your knees always stays in the same position, because we have a tendency to open the knees here and open the legs, the feet out to the side. But feel how the feet are in the same place, parallel to each other, knees are parallel to each other. And then from here, lifting slowly up as we tilt the pelvis, so that famous tailbone pointing towards our heels here. And then slowly lifting all the way up. Focus a lot on your chest here, to lift the chest as high up as you can. And then if it feels comfortable, we can walk the shoulders underneath, so the shoulders coming closer together, interlacing the fingers that are underneath your back, and then that will help you to come a little bit more into the position. From here, slowly lower down. If you are familiar with a wheel, then feel free to lift up to a wheel. Otherwise, just continue with this position that we just did, to play around with the shoulders. If we come up to the wheel, we can keep the block here just for a safety for our legs, for our lower back. It's a little bit more difficult, but your lower back will thank you. So hands behind your shoulders, feet hip width apart, and then on an inhale, pushing your body up. When we are in this position, we want to focus on bringing the chest forward, straightening the arms and bringing the chest forward. And then slowly lower down to the ground if we are up in a wheel, also if we're up in the bridge, lower down towards the floor. Releasing the block, bringing the knees into your chest. Very gently here, so don't pull them too much. Just finding that neutral spine. And then lifting your feet up, coming into what's called a happy baby. So grabbing the soles of the feet, the outer part of your feet. If this is not possible for you, then grab the backside of your knees, your shin, whatever you can grab. The important part here is that the spine is on the floor, the whole spine, even the lower part of your spine. And then you can grab wherever, you can grab your big toes, you can grab wherever you want here in this position. But the important part is you can pull the feet down and feel a straight spine.
Okay, so from here, bring your knees and feet together. We want to rock a little bit upside down. So inhale, we're coming up. Exhale, we're going down. Inhale, we're coming up. Exhale, going down. Rounding your spine to really get a nice massage of your spine here. Next time you're coming up, we'll cross the feet, placing the palms on the ground, then step the feet back into plank. We will lower down. We will lift up for either cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Just staying here for one breath, and then we will bend our knees, we will look forward and step forward, and we will come down to a seated position. So we'll start with the feet in front of you, engaging the legs. So if we have stiff lower back, stiff hips, short hamstrings, and if we have a difficulty folding forward, then use a block underneath your hips. It really helps to get in to the hips where we wanna arrive right now. So if you are on the block, again, just engage your legs, flexing your feet so your toes are pointing up. We're reaching the arms above the head, and then from here we fold forward. And feeling how we're folding forward from your hips. So imagine the hips, the sit bones, the tailbone, everything is going back, and then your nose is going forward. Grabbing your big toes if it's possible. Maybe you want to use a strap here. You can grab your shins, you can grab wherever you can grab. The important part here, we feel a straight spine in the beginning. And then slowly, together with the breath, we can start lowering down. So with each inhale, we're reaching forward. And with each exhale, we lower down. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, lower down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, we're coming back up. If you want, we can use the block underneath our hips. Bringing the feet together, knees out to the side for Baddha Konasana. And then from here, finding your limits. Maybe it's just about sitting up here and finding space in your hips to open up. Or you can walk the hands forward. You can use that grip of your hands on the floor to pull yourself forward. The same concept here. We want to lower down the straight spine. We want to bring the chest and the belly down towards the ground. And then slowly we're coming back up. And then last forward fold, open the legs as much as you can. Baddha Konasana. Toes pointing up, flexing your feet, engaging your legs. Same thing here. Feel how you want to bring the abdominals, the belly down to your floor rather than the nose down to the floor. Because then you're really getting into your hips. One more breath here. And same thing all the time, that we're using the breath. In a yoga practice like this, the breath is our biggest tool to find stability, to get deeper into the positions, to feel strength, to be flexible. Is really our biggest tool in all the positions. Sometimes we take it for granted, our breath, but in yoga we learn that we can really use our breath to achieve and be healthier. So let's release that position. We will just lower down to the floor and we'll prepare for Shavasana. So Shavasana is a very important position
If you want to, I've posted a video with a guided Shavasana. It's a relaxation. It's very nice and very important position. Or just put on a nice song at home. You can dim the light. You can grab a blanket, making yourself as comfortable as possible. If you don't feel comfortable in this position, you can place pillows underneath your knees so the knees comes up a little bit. Please keep the head on the floor, so no pillows underneath your head, so you're keeping a straight spine. So I hope you enjoyed that practice. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments of this video here below. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you.